objectively the best month in the entire year because it houses the objectively best holiday in the entire year, hands down. Columbus Day. With the close second being Halloween. I mean, I don't even need to explain to you why Halloween is the best holiday, because everybody already knows why. The general okayness with doing morally questionable things, the pounds of sugar everyone swallows, everyone dresses up to resemble fictional characters to varying degrees of success. It's at that perfect time when the weather's still bearable before the world plunges into a deep, dark, depressing winter candy corn. The only problem with Halloween is that it's right on the last day of the month. So what, you spend the whole month preparing for Halloween, you don't get any time to recover, it just launches straight in November. Well, I'm here to change that. This time, things are different. This time, every day is Halloween. So go out, dress up in an over-the-top costume every single day, stuff your face full of candy, lightly startle someone, and that way, my friends, you will have gotten your fill of Halloween this month. You won't need any time to recover and will be 100% prepared for the nightmare that is the rest of the year. Speaking of scary things, let's play an NES game.
You know, I've been trying to chip away at some NES games recently. I just kind of want to see where a lot of the Nintendo franchises I've sort of admired from a distance got started. Because while I've played a few games from a good majority of Nintendo's most popular series, I really haven't dove deep enough into them. Like, I've played but not beaten both Breath of the Wild and Link's Awakening, and while I've thoroughly enjoyed what I've played of both, if I called myself a fan of the Legend of Zelda series, I think that leaves me entitled to a nice tar and feathering from the community. So, a few weeks ago, I took a look at the first three Super Mario Bros. Games. My conclusion? Feel like it could have gone better. So why not take a look at the humble beginnings of another Nintendo franchise and see how quickly I want to sue the company for emotional trauma.
Because what could be scarier than playing an NES game?
The Metroid series may not be one of Nintendo's most profitable or popular, but it definitely has its fans. It's a series that I've always had a soft spot for, as in I played a good majority of Super Metroid, got stuck, and have not touched it or any other Metroid game since. But I adored what I played. It is such a finely tuned and well-crafted experience with awesome powers, a captivating world to explore, phenomenal theming, and a pretty damn good soundtrack. And its gameplay style is so unique, it's such a cool concept that it spawned plenty of fantastic games that have picked up its ideas and made them their own. So much so that this style of gameplay got its own genre, Metroidvania, named after the two games that truly pioneered it, Super Metroid and Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
But we're not talking about either of those games. Instead, we're going back to a far cruder, simpler time.
1986, and Nintendo has launched smash hit after smash hit after smash hit. So a new action platformer is thrown into production, directed by Satoru Okada and Masao Yamamoto. Wanting a way to set this new game apart from Nintendo's previous titles, the team decided to go for a slightly darker tone, drawing lots of inspiration from the movie Alien. And to make it even more separate from Nintendo's previous titles, the game was given a focus towards non-linear progression and exploring a vast world, and instead of power-ups giving only a temporary boost, like in Super Mario Bros., they were permanent upgrades, much like in The Legend of Zelda. After combining the words Metro and Android, Metroid was born and was graced to Japan on August 6, 1986, North America on August 15, 1987, and Europe on January 15, 1988.
And that is the development of Metroid. So, without further ado, let's jump into it. I'm actually really excited for this. It'll be good preparation for Metroid Dread, which comes out... Hang on a second. Alright, let's get this done quick.
Now, I've heard horror stories of this game having a lot of repeated rooms, making it almost impossible to figure out where you are and where to go, so I'm gonna try and pull up the official instruction manual to try and help.
How is that helpful?
So apparently the game just wants you to use this as a rough estimation of where to go, but these are just blobs. There's no scale or landmarks or anything. This is impossible to read.
Now, I've said before that I'm no cartographer, but even still, this is just absurd!
Whatever, I should probably brush up on the story too. Alright, we got Year 2000, Galactic Federation, Space Pirates, Federation Bureau, Galactic Federation Police, Space Hunters, Unknown Life Form, Planet SR-388, Planet's Destruction, Metroid, Planet Zebes, Mother Brain.
I think I kinda understand here. Well, let's just jump into it. Hopefully it won't be that much of a challenge. We play as the titular character Metroid. I have already messed up. This game is going to be way harder than I thought.
Metroid stars the mysterious Samus Aran, a bounty hunter sent to the planet Zebes, or Zebeth, I'm not sure which one, I'm getting mixed signals here, to wipe out all of the dangerous life forms known as Metroids, which are being multiplied by space pirates headed by the villainous Mother Brain. Along the way, Samus has to blast the shit out of Kraid and Ridley, who have hideouts hidden somewhere within Zebes.
That's pretty much it, which means I can finally jump in head first and never look back. I can't get past this wall. This playthrough is a disaster!
So, unlike the platformers that came before it that had multiple levels to run and jump through, Metroid essentially has one big level with lots of different branching pathways and secrets to uncover. At the beginning of the game, your only abilities will be to run, jump, and fire a short-range projectile, which can be angled up or in front of you. However, you'll quickly find upgrades that make you stronger or allow for new ways of traversal. Heading left at the beginning of the game will grant you with the first of these upgrades, the Morph Ball, allowing Samus to curl up into a little ball and roll through single-tile gaps, which were previously inaccessible without it. Putting the Morph Ball over here is honestly fantastic design because it tells the player that unlike in previous platformers like Super Mario Bros. Where all you need to do is hold right, in Metroid you'll be rewarded for exploring and wandering off the beaten path. And so the whole game is set up so that you'll use your powers to explore every single nook and cranny, and you'll get stronger for doing so. You get missiles that can open certain doors and do a bunch more damage than your standard shot. You get bombs you can drop when you're in ball form, which can break certain walls and floors to access new areas. You get high jump boots that let you jump higher, funny how that works. Energy tanks to upgrade your health. The ice beam, which allows you to stun enemies in place and stand on them. The wave beam, which is much stronger and has a higher damage radius than the standard shot. The long shot, which extends your blast from just a few tiles in front of you to the whole screen. And the screw attack, which allows you to damage enemies while jumping. If you look hard enough for things, you become pretty much unstoppable. You'll have an insane amount of health, have an incredibly strong attack, and have more missiles than you'll know what to do with. And when you get certain items, you'll go, ooh, I couldn't get to this area before, but now that I have this thing, I can! It's a really smart way to get you to explore and keep exploring. When you start out, everything seems really daunting, but as you progress, you become more confident as you become stronger and stronger. And man, Zebes is cool. Even though you're getting stronger, the game still manages to keep up this lonely and uneasy feeling for the whole playthrough. There's always that feeling that you don't know what will be behind this door or what's on the bottom of this elevator. And a big contributing factor in that feeling is the soundtrack. Man, this stuff is atmospheric. Brinstar has this march-like feel to it, almost to boost your confidence every time you come to it. To say, even though you don't know what's next, you still got this. But then Norfair, while still having some of that uplifting feeling, has a lot more unsureness to it. And then when you get to a secret area, the music almost stops and you're only left with a couple beeps. It leaves a feeling like something could jump out at you at any moment, and these are where the upgrades usually are, so while you're getting stronger, you're still left with a little bit of anxiety, and that's really cool.
And that about does it for the things I like. Come on, this is an NES game. It's gotta have some bullshit sprinkled in there somewhere.
Metroid is incredibly easy, and I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. Like, I breezed through this game. I think I died like a total of 5 times or something like that. Now, on the one hand, I was really expecting a little more of a challenge. I don't have a problem with easier games, I just kinda wish there was a little more difficulty here. On the other hand, I'm glad this game was as easy as it was for me, because dying is such a drag! When you die, you're given a passcode in order to start the game from where you left off, since it doesn't have a save feature. Then, when you restart, you're taken to like one of 4 respawn places. It'll depend on whichever one's closest to you. And even then, it's probably a good distance away from where you were, and Samus moves so slow, and these rooms can be so ridiculously long that they could take like 15 minutes just to get back to where you were. There are so many of these vertical rooms that just repeat like the same 2 platform layouts forever, so it just feels like a waste of time. And then if that wasn't bad enough, you only respawn with 30 health! Now, enemies can drop health when you defeat them, but that'll only give you like 5 health at a time. And the total health is 99 per energy tank! Which means if you have the maximum 6 energy tanks, you're going to be trying to refill your entire health for so long! Now, there are these pipe things that'll spawn these bugs endlessly, but even then, they're only going to give you 5 health at a time. Not every bug is going to drop health, and eventually, the bugs just stop dropping things altogether. There just needed to be a place to refill your energy. Even if there was only one at where you started the game, even that wouldn't be as bad as trying to hunt down however many enemies you need to refill your health. And I know I complimented the secrets and how they could be hidden behind breakable walls and stuff, but some of these are really dumb. I don't even know how you're supposed to find these, either without a guide or just completely by accident. Like, how am I supposed to tell the difference between this tile and this tile? Only one of them can be destroyed, and there's nothing that makes it stand out from the other 100 tiles that look exactly like it! Also, when I find a secret tunnel in a wall, why do I have to keep destroying breakable walls within it? Like, I found the secret! Stop wasting my time!
Furthermore,
the boss fights in this game are absolutely hilarious. I died to Kraid once, and that was just because I wasn't ready for all of the projectiles he throws. I'm still not even sure how you dodge all this. But it doesn't matter, because with both fights, if you have enough health and missiles, you can just get right up in their business and blow the shit out of them. It's not even a challenge at all.
Speaking of which, we beat both Ridley and Kraid, so let's go in the game now.
So, after you beat each boss, you'll be rewarded with 75 missiles, so it'll be basically impossible to run out. And once you've taken down both of them, you're granted to the final area, Tourian. And I will say, I like the way you access this area. There's a Ridley statue and a Kraid statue. Shoot both of them and a bridge forms. It's a cool way to add a sense of finality to this area. I like this. Now, Tourian is not a very long section. It's only got a couple of rooms, and there's no hidden walls or secrets or anything. However, it is crawling with Metroids. Fun fact, Metroids can only be beaten by freezing them, then shooting them with 5 missiles. Now, there are 2 different types of shots in this game, ice or wave. They don't stack, which means you don't get an ice wave shot, you only get an ice or a wave. Which means if you reach Tourian with the wave because it's infinitely better, why wouldn't you? That means you have to backtrack to the place where you got the ice beam so you can swap your wave beam out. That is really annoying. Fortunately, you're able to swap them out. I was a little worried I was stuck with the wave beam at the end of the game and would be screwed, but still, having to backtrack to get the ice beam is just really dumb. It feels like they knew how infinitely superior the wave beam was, so they wanted to give an excuse to weaken you for the final area.
I feel like I keep getting sidetracked. Where were we?
So if you get attacked by a Metroid, it'll cling to you and drain your health. And you can get ganged up on by a bunch of Metroids, which means your health will drain even faster. Now, you can't shoot anything when the Metroids latch onto you. You can only bomb them off you. I couldn't figure this out the first time I came here, so I died. And respawned with 30 total health. Now, I really didn't want to sit and farm health for an hour, so I reloaded to the save state I made before I fought Ridley because I'm playing on the Nintendo Switch Online app and I feel like I deserve a couple saves. Fought Ridley again, backtracked all the way back to where the ice beam is again, and then backtracked all the way back to Tourian again, and now I think you can see why this game is so frustrating sometimes. But anyways, Tourian on its own isn't really that hard of an area. You fight some Metroids, try to dodge these dumbass circles, and fail miserably because they just appear randomly, and finally, you reach Mother Brain. You have to destroy these tubes of stuff, and then you can blast open the little jar Mother Brain's in and proceed to pump it full of missiles until you beat Metroid. Oh, wait, excuse me, there's a quick timed escape section that features the same repeated platform layout like 6 times in a row, so it's not difficult at all. Although it does make for a pretty cool finale. And so the game ends. We see Samus standing in a field, they take off their helmet, and...
What the f*** is that? Is that a person?
You know, Metroid was one of the first games to have multiple endings. They're all basically the same, just various degrees of Samus standing, but what ending you get is based on how quickly you beat the game. And if you beat the game fast enough, being 3 hours or less, Samus will remove the entire suit and reveal that she was a woman the whole time!
I mean, wait, what?
Okay, this is barely a surprise to anyone at this point. If you know anything about video games, you know Samus is a girl, you know it was one of the coolest and biggest twists of the 80s, and you know that everyone is over it at this point. Now, you can play through the game as Samus without her suit on. If you input this in the password entry screen, you can start the game pretty much already completed with pretty much all of the upgrades collected, except this time, Samus isn't wearing her suit. And I mean, the Morph Ball already seemed physically impossible, but now it just seems even more painful. Now, why is the code Justin Bailey? Well, it was speculated on for a while, but it turns out it just kinda ended up working out like that. It wasn't programmed in or anything, it just so happens that typing out Justin Bailey starts you this way.
Well, that was Metroid. Most of my problems with this game are just byproducts of it being an NES game. Not only is the hardware limited, but with NES games, developers wanted to make sure people would get their money's worth out of the games they buy, so they would add a bunch of arbitrary difficulty to ensure people would spend more time with them. But honestly, this was really cool. It really does feel like the beginning of a lot of great ideas. This is a Metroid game through and through. It's just a little more bare bones than the ones that come after it. You know, they may not really be my favorite, but I have a massive amount of respect for NES games. They were able to kickstart so many beloved franchises, and the fact that the ideas they introduced are still being used in the games that succeeded them goes to show how good of ideas those really were. They may not have aged the best, and they may not be all too impressive nowadays, but there is a certain charm that can be found when visiting them. It's kinda cool to see where these video game giants got their start. But, all things considered, I was able to get through Metroid pretty fast, and now I'm ready to go when Metroid Dread releases to Wow, Halloween really is going to last all month. That is terrifying.